Hello, I am doing quite well. How are you? Blue Train says
Oh
he
no.
only hears me.
Oh no. You should be able to hear me now. Hello. I'll introduce everyone again. So, I am Marty B, and Tom Carter is joining me today. We already heard how well Tom is doing. I wanted to mention that the more important thing is the lack of Seth on the show. If anyone was watching last week, talked about how he would be banned from here, and as we can see, he's in the chat, but he's not on the show. Seth, you're still banned. Hope you're happy with yourself. Anyways, we have a lot to talk about. So let's start with our player of the week. Tom,
We
who do we have
finally
for?
got to the playoffs.
Yes, so we have an NA player of the week. First up, who would that be?
Yes, of our player of the week for NA is none other than Hazer. In round one of the playoffs, there were some close matches, but none of them was closer than everyone's a winner against Mad Scientist, which came down to 13-12 in the final. Player of the week Hazer helped his team sneak out the win with a tight 3-2 over 9 eyebrows to move everyone's a winner into the next round. So congratulations to everyone's a winner and especially to Hazer, player of the week, who got the win and pushed that final point for the team to make it.
Yeah, huge win from Hazer there. Very close series, but now they're on the semis. So best of luck to them. Just kidding. I want them to lose.
Absolutely. I'm
I
rooting
want them
I'm
to lose.
rooting for all the teams. I don't have a favorite. I want everyone to have fun. That's exactly why we're doing this.
Nah,
It's
no.
for fun.
They can have fun, but losing is fun for them too. It's okay. But we also have an EU Player of the Week, and this is their final week of the regular season. So we have Maxidana taking it. With a week on the line and a 12-10 score against a little agony last week, Maxidana needed to come big to bring an EU everyone's a winner to victory. Despite its opponent's rather unorthodox lineup, I believe there were things like Mech Handbuff Paladin in there. It's very unusual. Maxidana pulled through with a massive 3-1 win, edging his team over a little agony with a 14-13 score. So, very big win there
I think
against the top
this
team.
this been the closest playoffs we had in the last 3 years. Am I right? Overall, I mean, I
Something
know
like
EU
that.
is quite new.
Yeah, it was pretty close. So, we're going to talk a little bit more on that later. But basically, everyone makes it. Top two teams get a bye the first week, and the bottom four teams are doing a sort of play in quarterfinal to see who moves on to the next round. With that,
Yeah, but it's pretty close.
yeah, especially among the higher teams, it's a bit closer.
Hmm.
So let's take a look at what was brought last week. The one thing that you guys are going to notice is that there's fewer decks, and the reason for that is because there's fewer teams playing overall. So the only big takeaways from this is Hunter became the most popular class last week. Before then, it was Warlock, followed by Druid and Warrior, I believe. Hunter very close behind. But now Hunter is on top, just by one, but still on top. The other thing of note is even Reno Lock's rise. So people were all on the even lock train, but now everyone's turning to yellow cards again. People like the yellow cards, and we're seeing more of them. So even Reno is now the most popular Warlock deck. Tom, do you have any other comments?
I'm happy that even Reno is popular because I I would hate it if we could not see yellow cards uh, be played. I know the meta is not allowing things like Reno Warrior to shine, but at least we have Reno Even Warlock. Even though I'm not a big fan of the even part, I'm a fan of Sephiris and my man. We are gonna be rich. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say.
You and your mustache, man. Be careful with yourself. Otherwise, I may have to do to you what I did to Seth. Moving on
Hey,
though.
but I do have a mustache in real life. I love my mustache.
Still not the mustache man. Moving on though. We have more unique decks to feature from the last week. Shall we take a look?
Of course. You wanna say the first one?
This. This one is special to my heart. We have Battle Tagger's
I knew it.
Solitaire Kingsbane Rogue. So this was an archetype that I also dabbled in, similar to around the time that Battle Tagger started messing with it. I built it a little different, and I haven't brought it to THL, but I really like what he's doing here. And this takes a lot of inspiration from the standard weapon route, where you just want to draw your weapon, hit them in the face, stall for a bit, and then if you really need to go over the top, you have Garrote combo. And that's pretty much what we have here. Draw your Kingsbane, buff it up, hit it in the face, get to the end of your deck, and then Garrote with Guild Trader.
I feel like you could replace the Kingswing from the Swindle stock. I don't remember the name of the weapon, the epic, from the standard
Oh,
deck.
Swine Tusk Shank.
Yes, I am not pronouncing that. And then it could be maybe even better. I don't know. This
It's
looks really fun.
yeah, it's tough
So
to
yeah.
say because with those decks, you're basically running a dead card in the second Swine Tusk Shank, and it's also 3 mana. Hence the Kingsbane version. But for any budget player, it does the same thing effectively, and you are buffing the durability as well with every single poison that you use on the weapon.
On the weapon. Yep.
So it's effectively the same as you said. And also of note, the Guild Trader Baroque combo is exactly 32 damage. So
Oh,
you don't have to worry about swinging the Kingsbane to the face a few times if you're facing an aggressive deck. You just trade and survive, and then you kill him.
interesting.
So
I didn't know it was exactly 32 damage.
yeah, very fun deck, very unique, and it won the week for Tagger last week. Now we have another deck.
Nice.
Shall we take a look?
And of course, for our second deck, we have Shadow's Frog, Big Burn Priest. Um, it is basically Shadow Essence Priest, Big Priest, but instead of having, I don't want to say good minions, but instead of having the usual minions, we have Prophet Belen, Maligos, and that's it. Not even Bargoth. This is full on aggressive. You run Void Shard and Mind Blast, which both can go face with Holy Ripple, and you just want to burn your opponent to the face. It is extremely fun to play. I don't have Prophet Belen, but I played Big Maligos Priest a couple times, and it is especially close to my heart. I hate Beat Priest, but this version it is approved 100%. Um,
Yeah. Memnarch in the
yeah,
comments
have any comments
mentioning.
on the deck?
Yeah, Memnarch in the comments mentioning this is an early 2019 deck. It's funny he says that, because I remember seeing this get top forward in the 2019 Wild Open from some of the Chinese players. They were very high on this deck. It's
I
a
mean, the opening, the base of the deck is basically the same. The only new cards are Shadow of the Naru, which is a really strong card because it's a silence and it's a tradable, and Boy Shard. I don't think it has any other new tech from the new expansions.
Not really. But the thing with this deck is it's like a high risk, high reward, right? You play your minion, or you get your minions out, and they don't have taunts, so you're getting hit in the face. But then you say Spirit Lash or something. In this case, it was Holy Ripple, and then you just heal
Yeah, but
for a ton.
Holy Ripple, yeah, but Holy Ripple kills for a fixed amount. I don't know, but then if you run the other spell, I completely blanked out. You said
Spirit Lash.
Spirit Lash. Yeah, if you run Spirit Lash, you could be killing your own minions, which is also not good.
You heal a ton, and then
I
you
don't
just
know.
resurrect, right?
Yeah, but what if you don't have enough mana? I don't
But
know. I think the deck built in this way, it's probably fine. The only sauce card for me is Holy Fire because it is way too expensive for what it does. So yeah.
there's a few things that you could possibly change, but regardless, it's a fun deck. This will beat up on slower strategies for sure, and it will do
Oh,
a lot of damage.
no, for sure.
So, with that, those are our featured decks of the week. Shall we move on to our matches? Tom?
First, we have the Brown Conference from NA. Aussie Pen Merchants against Nofin 2
Oh,
Underwater Boogaloo.
I am so
Am I
sorry. There
right?
was an error. We have a small error.
Oh,
Give me a second.
oh, I know. I'm looking at the wrong. Yeah, sorry.
No, that is not the problem. Just get on this real
No, wait.
quick.
Am I?
Showing now. Nope. Oh no. Guys, bear with me. There's some error going on with our.
This
Okay, here
this
we go.
week, sadly, we don't have fish on the background for fixing the images.
It's all good. We have it on screen. So, Aussie Pain Merchants versus Snowfin 2 Underwater Boogaloo. Tell us about it, Tom.
Okay, there we go. So, Aussie Permenchants lost against No Fin, 14 against 7. Quite the score differential. So we have Slate against Riceball in the first seed. Riceball taking a sweep, 3-0. Both banned the Druid, really strong. Um, then we have Bone Masher against Glare. I think that was a DQ.
It was a no contest. So the
Or
match
wasn't.
was decided 14-7. And so once the week is decided in the playoffs, players who have not played their match can decide whether they still want to play
Oh,
or not.
They decided to not play it. Oh no!
Correct.
I remember because I had a non conquest the last season. And I decided to play just for fun. Because I was like, yeah, I know it doesn't matter, but I'm here to play, you know.
Exactly.
Then we have EPT Hopper against Maxibon, with EPT Hopper taking the win 3-1. For seed, we have Seth, you are still banned, against Quakelord, with Seth taking the win 3-2. And finally, we have Tiger Eye against Yorari, with Yorari taking the win, sadly the only win for Aussie Pen Merchants, against Tiger Eye 3-2.
Yeah. It's a bit of an upset considering Nofin just barely playoffs. You know, we see them pretty much just stumbling in, getting in by what, 1 point, and now they take down the top team in their conference. So it's quite the turnaround.
Yeah, but I am not surprised given how strong the decks are nowadays that you can just flip a coin and your match can be like completely turned around. I don't know how many of these matches were close, but I can tell that by having wins that are 2-3 and 3-2, probably a couple.
I don't think it's so
So yeah,
much flipping a coin. It's more Nofin really preps this week. I saw the decks, and you can tell they put a lot of thought into it, more than before. And as a result, their
it
prep paid off.
yeah it paid off completely.
So congrats to them, and best of luck in the semis. Now we have a
Yes.
second match to Everyone's a Winner versus Mad Scientists. This was another close one between the two teams. 13 to 12. It doesn't get much closer than that. We have two sweeps. The first from Catharsis over Battle Tagger. Huge win for Catharsis. Tagger is usually considered one of the top players in the Wild series, and not only taking down a force, but sweeping them. Huge. Next up, we had Number Theory taking a 3-1 win over 6J. Sunday turning it around for the team, getting a 3-2 win. And Jordan MG sweeping Genray 3-0. Came down to Hazer versus Eyebrows for the final match. And Hazer came on top with a 3-2 win. So, huge win there. Everyone's a Winner, just squeaking by. And
there we have our player of the week.
Yeah, Hazer. Shout out Hazer for that win. So, Tom, I see you redeeming points already. Edwin is not Hall of Fame, but he is unnerved. I gotta yell at the others to
crafted
change
after
that.
the nerf. No, I think it's beautiful to have a channel point reward against Edwin, such a polemic card.
Something like that.
Anyway, going to the Grand Conference, we have F2L Viridian against Meta Rulers. First we have Corvette, who's still 10-0 against Lasagna. Corvette taking the win 3-2. Then we have Get Meowth against Corneria. I think this was a DQ.
Yes.
For Get Meowth. Then we have you against you, I mean Marty B against QWERTY, and I'm not reading the number, sorry. With you winning 3-1, maybe you can talk a little bit more about your match. And then we have Neji Boston against Godbout in the fourth, with Godbout taking the win 3-1. For F2L Viridian, winning the week 13-7. The last match, Rotted Zombie against No Way, was a no contest. And there we have it.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk a little bit more about your match, go on.
Really, it was just an unfortunate thing.
And
So, this match was unique because both teams had faced each other the week before. So, in some cases, it was us trying to outsmart one another, and others, due to budget constraints, not so much. In Cordy's example, we have, and Cordy doesn't really have much of a collection item name. So, due to that limited scope, I just brought a pretty much a counter lineup and rolled over, and there wasn't much Cordy could do there, so it's not too exciting, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lasagna was one of the ones that changed their lineup and made it really close against Corb, and Neji got hit hard by Godbout after some lineup changes there. So nothing too crazy. Sorry to disappoint. I wish there was
But
something exciting.
it's at this point in the competition that we are seeing more people trying to counter the person and not the decks. You are at this point always trying to outsmart each other, trying to read what your opponent is going to bring, and then you bring counters. But then you think, oh wait, my opponent thinks that I'm bringing counters, so I need to bring counters to the other counters, and that's how you get such an interesting spread of decks in the playoffs, and that's what I love about this. Everyone trying to play in 4D chess against each other.
Yeah, it's basically one big set of mind games each week, and sometimes it's
Yeah.
easier, sometimes it's a little more difficult. You never know. So, on to the next. We have Air Club versus Owl. This had all 5 matches played actually. White Delight, Otters, and Memnarch taking for Hair Club, and Nice Jewish Owl and Turtle taking it for Owl. White Delight improves on his season with a 3-1 win over Possible Hope, bringing him to 8-2. Bomb fell to Nice Jewish Owl. That's going to bring him down to the 3 seed. Otters wins though, or Otter won against Hello 547, which brings him to 7-3, which means he'll be 2 seed next week. Burnt getting swept by Turtle. I'm sure Burnt wish he could have had that back, but didn't matter because Minarch came and carried the team with a 3-0 sweep over. Memnarch having a rough season, but I think I remember White Delight mentioning that it'll be time for Memnarch to carry the team once again.
Hmm. I'm hopeful to see that.
I really hope that doesn't happen. Okay. Burnt played after the week was already won. So it did not.
Wagner, I am too.
But it's fine. With that, we don't have PPR this week because of playoffs. We do have a playoff bracket to show. As you've seen before, on top on these screens, we have the previous week's bracket. Now we have an updated one, which is, and here you have it. This means F2L and everyone's a winner. They're facing the semifinals, which is a little strange. Not used to that. But there we have it. And on the other side, Hair Club versus Nofin 2. So 2 of these teams will make it to the finals and play each other. 2 of them will fall. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. No par feels bad, man. I know, Corp, but it's fine. I'm gonna push for something a little different. Sure, you are aware, and maybe we can get something for the playoffs a little bit later as well. With that, let's go to the EU side. So first things first, standings. These guys were still in the playoff, or in the regular season, I should say. Last week, that was the final week of regular season. All 6 teams played, so we have our final standings as a result. Little Agony at the top, followed by F12 Celadon at 163 points. Then EU Everyone's a winner at 162 points. They were actually at 158 prior. Those 4 points came from a win this week already in the playoffs. Then Goku number 1 and 4th, Safari Wild in 5th. Bad Tech Cards at the bottom with 86 points. Top 2 teams get a bye, so they won't be playing this week. The other 4 teams will be playing each other to see who moves on to the next round of the playoffs. Now for the matches. Top. We have one on screen already. A Little Agony versus EU Everyone's a winner. Tell us about it.
A little agony against EU everyone's. I love saying that name and I hate it at the same time. EU everyone's a winner. We have Matt Thanos against Mr. Luke 98, with Matt Thanos taking the win 3-1. Then we have Tontis Cheat against Lasagna, with Lasagna winning 3-2. Then we have Adrian 123 against Jerna, Jerna winning 3-1. Then we have Battle Tiger subbing for, help me here. Do you know who's he's subbing for?
God, I did know. Give me 1 second. I can I can update you on this. But continue.
Yeah, Battle Tiger took the win against Slad 3-2. And finally, we have Maxadona, our player of the week, in EU against Ian Lebruce. Maxadona wins 3-1, giving everyone's a winner, the week, the points to win 14-13. really close against a little agony, which is the top team. So congratulations to everyone. Everyone's a winner. I'm gonna say winner now instead of winner. Um, Congratulations to them for winning against the top dog, and congratulations especially to Maxadona, Player of the Week for EU.
Yes. Just a final update before we move on. Tagger was subbing in for QB. So
Oh,
QB will
QB.
be QB will be back in next week, I believe.
Excellent.
On to the next. We have bad tech cards versus my team. The EU side, F12 Celadon. So 16-4 win. Yeah, this was all sweeps. 4 of them going F12's way and 1 going towards bad tech cards. Orthos, Rebob, Bedrooms, and Copa all got sweeps over Elfie, Phaeron, Engine, and Mewtwo, respectively. And then Acid coming in for the sub over Destruct, making a 3-0 sweep over Itachi. So one thing to note from this, Itachi was being subbed in for Alb, and Alb will be coming back next week. And the reason why this is important is because of what we'll see on the final player power rankings for EU. So, should be a huge pickup for F2L starting next week. Or, yes, starting next week when entering the playoffs. So they have the bye this week. Can we move on to...
Interesting.
Yeah, so before we look at the
Yes.
player power rankings, because EU joined playoffs this week, we have a bracket for them as well. You want to take a look?
Yes. Show me the bracket. I love looking at the bracket because we can see the team logos, which are all beautiful, and I love them very much. Um, they all look funny, and
Some clean
yeah,
ones.
I just love them.
Some very interesting choices. Some ironic choices. It was a good time. So,
And then we have this is not me calling you out, but then we have F2L. Like, I don't know. You could make him more quirky or something. Just saying.
so some things to note. There's some unusual colors on here, and these are marked because depending on how the first round goes, that'll determine who plays which team. So a Little Agony has the 1 seed, and F2L has the 2 seed. Therefore, the match between bad tech cards and EU Everyone's a Winner decides who will face who. Bad tech cards win, they'll face a Little Agony. If EU wins, they will face F2L Celadon. Second match is entirely dependent on the first match. You'll see here, I named them USA number 1 instead of Goku number 1 because I didn't want any confusion for why they were called Goku number 1. Some of us do know, but it's very unusual to think that Goku could look like a bald ego. So we're sticking with USA number 1 for now. Otters, you can yell at me later. So if Everyone's a Winner wins, the winner between USA number 1 and Safari Wild will face a Little Agony. And if Bad Tech Cards wins, the winner between USA number 1 and Safari Wild will face F2L Celadon. So, slightly different from the other bracket, but should make sense. Not too difficult to follow once we have the results.
No, makes sense, and I think it's very clean given the number of teams. This is standard organization for having like these brackets spread out against 6 teams. So yeah, I think it's perfect to decide the rest of the playoffs seeds given one match. It's more simple than having each one do it something and then making the brackets. So yeah.
Yes. So, with that, we have one more update. Talking about it a little bit earlier. Let's move on. That in 1 second to make sure that this was properly updated. Sure. Because we have been having errors with this. Yes, this should be good. One second. Sorry, we are getting our player power rankings set up for EU. There is a slight error in them. In the meantime, games have already begun for this week. I believe everyone's winner is already up 4-1. You can correct me on that.
No, what? No, I think you're right.
Yeah. So, congrats to them so far. Errors with PPR.
No,
let's just
not the
move
PPRs.
on. It's fine. We'll just move on.
I still don't understand what that means. I mean, I have a vague idea, but I really need to look into the table. But I'm kind of dumb, so I give up.
It's fine. So, just to be clear, this is what we have from the last week. Can you run us through as a recap?
Sure. As honorable mentions, we have Jerna, 5-4, 23-19 with a 14 par. Then we have Slav, 4-4, 2015 with a 13 par. Then we have Adrian, 1-3, going 5-4, 18-15 with a 13 par. Then we have the Rotted Zombie, going 5-4, 2019, again with a 13 par. And as our final honorable mention, we have Red Bobson, again for 5-4, 22-21 with a 13 par. Going from the bottom to the top, we have Others, 5-3, 17-15 with a 14 par. Then we have Lasagna, 5-4, 22-15 with a 17 par. Then we have Elfie Delphi, 4-3 with a 1750, 15 with an 18 par. Then we have Shadow Frog, 6-3, 22-15 with a 19 par. Then we have Jarat, I hope that I'm pronouncing that right, 5-4, 22-19 with a 21 par. On the fifth rank, we have Mr. Luke 98, 6-2, 22-15 with a 25 par. Number 4, Matt Thanos, 7-2, 23-15, 26 par. Number 3, Lorthos, 7-1, 21-15, 26 par. Number 2, Tontis Cheat, 7-2, 25-15 with a 30 par. And finally, we have Alv 987, 7-0, 21-7 with a 14 par. You can see that the top players have quite a different par between each other. Some really, really good players at the top. And those are our power rankings from the Wild Series EU.
Yeah. So, again, apologies for the errors. This is from last week. This is just a recap. Unfortunately, we're getting issues with updating our data and can't receive this week's par in time. but that'll be posted onto the server later. So just wait a little bit longer if you want to check it out there in a bit. It'll be posted there. With that, let's go back to the home screen. We have one last thing to talk about, and that is our question of the day. Question of the week, I should say. Tom.
I mean, it is the day, and it's also the week.
True. So, with the playoffs underway for everyone, what is your bold playoff prediction? We already have
My
1 week
bold.
down. Yes, we already have 1 week down in NA.
I don't know. You're asking me for a bold take when all my takes are always bold.
Give me your take.
I don't know. I really want to see the lowest scoring team to sweep. I think I'm gonna predict. I don't remember who's on the fourth spot, but given how we've seen some underdogs destroying some of the top dogs, I think it's totally possible that we suddenly start seeing more and more sweeps. And yeah, I think that the standings at this point mean little to nothing, and we are going to see a really, really abrupt shake, and probably the team that has the least standings is going to take the playoffs week. That is my prediction.
You think the lowest standing team is going to take it in NA or E?
In an A.
So you're,
In EU is a little bit closer.
you think that NoFin is going to take it?
Yes. No, I wasn't sure, but yeah, with nothing taking Aussie Pet Merchants, I think it's totally possible that they just win the playoffs. But you're still
so?
banned, Seth. Yeah.
Seth, you're still banned.
Yes.
If you win, we'll have the whole team on except for you, because you were banned.
Yes, we are going to have a group ball, and everyone gets like free cookies, but not you.
Well, that is quite the bold prediction. If I were to guess, though, for myself, I want to say Safari Wild makes the finals in the EU. 3-6-1, heading against a 6-4 team right now. No games played yet, but I think they go on a hot streak and surprise. There's a bold prediction: a team under 500 winning the EU series.
I think we are at the tip of the iceberg. We have so much more to uncover on the coming weeks, and yeah, it could be anyone's tournament, to be honest.
Absolutely. Could be anyone's at all. With that, we do have a surprise update to make. We do have our EU power ranking. Are you still up for that, Tom?
Sure.
We go one more time.
Of course. We don't want to leave anyone behind.
Apologies for the errors from before. Do have them now. Are fully updated. I can cover it for you, Tom. That way I can give you a little bit of a break. Our honorable mentions on the right and bottom top. Slot at 12 par. Ramen Joke 6-4, 15 par, tied with Elfie Delphi, who's 4-4. And then we have Goku and Rebob at 17 and 18 par respectively. Then going to the top 10, Yurna 6-4, 18 par, tied with our honorable mention. It gets there because of the better game record. Number 9 and number 8, Rat, audited respectively, both at 19 par. 7, we have Lasagna, 22.
Oh, it's La Rat. I thought it was a J. I said Jarat.
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
all fixed now. So 7 we have Lasagna, 6 and 5 is Shadow Frog and Mr. Luke, 73 and 63 respectively, both at 23 points above replacement. Number 4, big gap between 4 and 5, Tauntus Cheat at 29 PAR. Then 3, Lorthos 31, Mad Thanos 32 par in second place, and Alb 987 still at 40 par. And he'll be coming back next week for F2L, and this is why it'll be a huge pickup for them. So looking forward to that.
Sorry, but I'm shouldn't Shadow Frog be number 5, or am I wrong?
So Shadow Frog has a worse game, or no?
No, and he has one more, so I think he should be number
Yes.
5.
Yes, it's an error in the system. That's what it was. I just copied it over. So
Yeah,
Shadow
yeah,
Frog
no,
should
no,
be
no.
number
I'm
5.
looking at it. Yeah, Shadow Frog is number 5, and Mr. Luke is number 6.
Oh no, it's because no, this is right because Mr. Luke has fewer games played. That's what it is. So fewer games played to get to the same amount of par, and that's why Mr. Luke is higher.
That's yes, I am. Okay, no, I got it.
Yeah.
That is so confusing.
It's a very confusing system. We'll talk with some people in content to see if we can bribe Donde enough to change the system a little bit. We'll have to wait and see.
Oh,
But that's the hope. I know a few of you might have been introduced to a similar system before that I'm referring to. We'll see if we can implement that in some way, even if it's just for Wild. That's next season's worry, though.
yes.
Again, thanks for sticking
Yeah,
it
no,
out.
it's too late.
Thanks for sticking it out. This episode was a little all over the place, and we had both operators have things come in the way, so that's why we had a bit of a harder time, but all is well now. Glad you stuck around for it. Hope this excited you a little bit more, and best of luck to everyone else in the playoffs. Except for Seth, because you're banned. And there you have it. So, thanks again, and take care.